Most of us are more concerned with the larger world we deal with every day. And according to author Paul Taylor, for Americans, that world is being radically transformed right now. His new book is titled The Next America, Boomers, Millennials, and the Looming Generational Showdown. Paul Taylor, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
So I don't think most people would be surprised that you say the next generation is older and whiter. But what is surprising about the book is how all of that affects the American landscape.
Yeah, the United States is going through two dramatic demographic transformations at the same time. Either one of them would be the defining story of our era, but the fact that they're both happening simultaneously is really creating potential generational stresses. We're on path to becoming a majority non-white country. In the middle of last century, we were 85% white. By the middle of this century, we will be 43% white. This is being driven mainly by the modern immigration wave, which, unlike previous immigration waves, in this case, it's Hispanics and Asians who are changing our racial tapestry. And at the same time, a record share of us are going gray. So the famous baby boom generation, a very large generation, made a lot of noise when we were young, is now 10,000 baby boomers will turn 65 today, another 10,000 tomorrow.
Right.
This will happen every single day until 2030, and at that point, we have kind of more beneficiaries than taxpayers in terms of our big social insurance programs, and the math doesn't work, and as a society, we're going to have to work all that out.
And at the same time, life expectancy, which in 1960 was 70 years old, by 2011, you say is going to be 79 years old.
It's already 79 years old, and by the middle of this century, it'll be 84. And on from there. Wow. So again, you've got to start to rejigger the math.
So this has economic repercussions, and it also has political repercussions, yes?
Yes. The gap in the way young and old vote is bigger today than it has been at any time since we've been able to record it. And again, the young tend to be many non-white. They tend to be liberal. They tend to be democratic. The old, the other way, older, conservative. They don't like government, but hands off Social Security and Medicare, they work very well for them.
Right.
The book also talks a lot about millennials and their lifestyle choices. They don't want to get married. They don't want to buy a house. They don't want to get a car. How does that affect the rest of us?
You know, it's all of those things are true, except I wouldn't use the word want. They aren't getting married. They aren't buying houses, and they aren't buying cars. And the reason is they don't have the money. And this is the first generation in modern history, perhaps in our history, that is starting out in life in worse economic circumstances than their parents' generation.
And the way you stack this up, then, is you basically see a battle looming between what millennials want and what boomers want.
I see a potential battle because rebalancing the social safety net will be difficult. But what the book also points out is that there isn't a generation war needs combatants. And we have a lot of data to suggest that young and old in this country actually get along very well. One of the reasons they get along very well is that the young are having trouble getting started in life, and they're still living with mom and dad, or they boomerang back home. But you know what? There's not a lot of conflict in those households that we can measure with our tools. I think when the boomers came of age back in the 60s, we had a kind of a whiff of generation war. Our parents sort of screwed everything up, and we were here to make it better. These kids don't feel that way about their parents, and let's hope that's a good basis. Those good vibrations will help us solve some of the entitlement issues.
It's a fascinating book, The Next America. Paul Taylor, thanks so much for being with us.
Great to be here.